I mean, well, he's not trained for cricket, but maybe if he was to drop what he's doing and take cricket up seriously, we never can tell. But I saw him bowl a over at Chris Gayle and it was frightening. But then that wasn't just one over, but I really lost it. And that's a beauty. That's why I said the basketball players that we saw, yes, they are strong and they might look good for an over too, but they were natural athletes. They didn't look like natural cricketers or footballers, so to speak. But you could tell that they were good at what they were doing. They're strong, they could get you out of the way and they could get up there and dunk the ball. They're not taking anything away from cricket. They're adding something that is relevant sport.
We've got to wrap up fairly soon, haven't we? After anybody else? Any more questions? Gentlemen?
Michael, if you were playing these days, currently offer the opportunity, are you?
To go to the IPL?
Yeah.
What flight would you book for me? You can't turn down that sort of money. When people offering you $1 million for 6 weeks, how do you tell them no?
And the number of sixes you hit.
Exactly. All those sixes,
Highly qualified.
double the price. And hey, it's 4 overs. Wow.
I was just about to say
24 balls. That would encourage laziness easily.
Do we think we'll see Chris Gayle in the next one-day game instead of Bravo, perhaps?
I think that will depend on fitness, really. I don't think. I haven't got a clue who is fit, because I was so surprised when I turned up at the ground and heard that he wasn't playing that. And I almost said Rose Bowl, the AGS Bowl. But I don't know.
I was told today that Rob had probably gone home.
Darren Bravo is gone home.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone is coming, but as Mike said, I think it's down to fitness. I think Chris probably got injured before the last game, but Bravo definitely got injured in this game.
Well, that's the problem.
You see that?
All the practice of Woodford Bell are neighbours. That's what he's been practicing in the nets.
Well, I'm surprised he got injured because I saw when he was in Jamaica, they had him doing a fitness thing.
Yeah.
So he was doing the sprinting part of it before the cricket. I was just hoping that he didn't break down. I mean, I didn't see why someone who had just come back from a lot of cricket had just to go through some of the regimes that he went through.
I think they were trying their best not to get him into the team. All the politics associated with Chris Gayle, find a reason not to select him.
Yeah.
Do you think he should be selected?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
You think that?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You see, a lot of things have happened to Chris Gayle in recent times and also with the IPL. Again, a point to my book. When he arrived here, 2009, he arrived here 2 or 3 days before the first test match at Lord's. I slated him for it because he was the West Indies captain, but I also put a half of the responsibility on the West Indies Cricket Board because Chris Gayle had an arrangement with the West Indies Cricket Board that he would get to England 9 days before the first test match. His team got to the quarterfinals or what, I don't know. He got to one of the big games. And he did not want to leave. His franchise didn't want him to leave. So he wrote the West Indies Cricket Board up for extra time to spend in India. The West Indies Cricket Board should have said to Chris Gayle, I'm sorry, this is the arrangement. We'll give you permission to go until this date. Come to England on this date. The West Indies Cricket Board said, oh yeah, you're fine, you can stay longer. And then the president has the gall to go on radio and television and says, oh, they got no credit for allowing Chris Gayle to spend a longer time in India. What credit is there? West Indies cricket is more important than any franchise he's playing for. If he wants to choose the franchise over West Indies cricket, let him choose that franchise. But you cannot then give him the permission.
That's what's gone away from the cricket. It's not about how good a player you are, it's the endorsements and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is part of life as well.
Yeah.
Look at Marlon Samuels.
Yeah.
Marlon Samuels got a contract from this recent IPL for $750,000 US. He told the franchise, listen, I still want to play for the West Indies. If you're happy to have me for half that time, and then I can come to England and play for the West Indies for the other half, you have me. If not, I'm sorry. The franchise said, no, we'll take you for half. He went, he got his $375,000 US, and he came to England and he was a leading run scorer. He still wants to play for the West Indies.
Integrity.
I would like to see that from a lot more cricketers and also a lot more boards, where they are willing to share and compromise. Because you cannot tell a young man, no, turn your back on all that money. It is impossible to do that.
Is there a question over here?
Yeah, I was just wondering, in terms of young, you're looking at young fast bowlers, a lot of bowlers down here, just looking at the core sort of talents and skills that you'd look at and sort of say, oh, that looks special, that's worth nurturing. Is there any particular sets of skills that you like to see, or just bowling fast at people's heads?
You're talking about what age now?
Young, so say 13, that sort of age, so pretty young, and it's sort of running in, you're just looking to see which out of the group would be worth spending a bit of time on.
Well, the ones that I'll be looking at are the ones that I would think have an action that's not going to damage themselves. Because at that age, I wouldn't be asking them to bowl fast. They would run in and do whatever they can do, but I wouldn't ask them to be extending themselves, because I don't think young bodies should really be asked to extend themselves bowling fast. It's the most unnatural thing to do. So I'll be looking at exactly how they're running, exactly what action they have got. If they're putting any special strain on any part of the body, the more fluent they are, the easier it is for them to go through and have a long career. Those who have a bit of pace, even at a tender age, and might not have the right action or might not have the right run-up, then you try and work on that aspect of their game at an early stage. Because fast bowling, Courtney will tell you, at his age, no, he's much younger than I am, and he's still having problems with these things. All different parts of your body, they get a lot of wear and tear. And you want to be as fluent and as smooth as you possibly can. And I said at a young age, you don't want to encourage them to bowl fast.
Just cut that run-up down.
You for the basics, I mean, the approach to the crease and at the point of delivery. That's what I normally just try and look for with the kids, and then fine-tune it a little bit, not much changes, but all you want is a proper run-up, a proper follow-through flow, and then you can work on it from there. Once they have the basics, then they can improve and do the fancy stuff later on. But without the basics, and you're going to get in trouble. And part of the basic is trying to be strong as well, so you do a little bit more work to strengthen those, in terms of strengthening the muscles and just making sure that they're flexible enough to without them all.
Mikey, before we finish, tell us what it's like to work in the Sky commentary box. So you've got some characters in there, Sir Ian Botham, Bumble, Nasser, Athers. What are they like?
Take us all night out here.
When you mentioned that you and John worked on Nassau Saints Benefit, that was about the first thing I wanted to do up here, but it split me, was to add offer my commiseration. Especially to John. I know you are around Nassau all the time, but well, he has improved. Nassau was a miserable git when he was. But he's great now. He has mellowed a lot. And he's great to work with now. As a matter of fact, I think of all the guys in the box, I enjoy their company. I look forward to working with Sky. And it's a great pleasure. And as I have said to my boss, Barney, who was our immediate boss, boss of Skysports, I don't work. I have a job, but I don't work. I could never ever consider that work. It's great. I enjoy it. Sometimes the traveling is a little bit rough, but not everything is all roses. There are a few thorns along the side, and to have to travel is not that big a thorn.
I was kind of hoping you would tell us about the wine night with beef or here.
No, you said in the commentary box.
Oh, yeah.
Just a final question, Paul. Who were your favourite victim in your careers? Who did you enjoy the most getting out?
Well, 1976, Tony Gregg.
Just one more before we finish, shall we?
Sorry, I'm going to take you back to this West Indian thing because it concerns me greatly. We all acknowledge that what's missing is experience. And if the guys are playing against people in a domestic level who are not as good as them, where are they going to get that experience?
You're talking about domestic cricket in the Caribbean?
In the Caribbean.
Yeah, well, that is a serious problem. And that is why I've never really been critical of the West Indies Cricket Board when they say that in order to play test match cricket or to represent the West Indies, you need to play in the domestic tournament of whatever level you are trying to play for the West Indies. Because if you don't have people that are better than you to play with and against, you don't learn. The same thing happening with the West Indies team now. The same thing will happen at the next level of first class cricket. You need people to test yourself against. And at the moment we are having less and less our top cricketers playing in the Caribbean. It just hadn't just started now. It started from probably 15 years ago. And it's getting worse and worse.
And that's my question really. Where can you see that, you know, that being reversed?
That is a hard one, you know, to be honest, because as you probably know, we don't have a lot of money in the Caribbean to make our domestic cricket professional, to pay our domestic cricketers a great deal for them to definitely want to stay and to play. And you know, money is important. We have no Caribbean companies. Every island has their own brewery or their own cigarette company, or everything is all island based. The only companies we have that are Caribbean wide are foreign companies, like Digicel, who is a foreign telecommunications company, and they have offices in all the Caribbean islands. That's the only thing we have that's Caribbean wide. We have no Caribbean companies as such that would be that interested in getting involved and putting money into our cricket. And that is why we are struggling in that department. How to solve that problem, I don't know. You know, you cannot tell, as I said before, you cannot tell people that you can earn money playing in England or in South Africa or Australia, but don't go stay and play our domestic tournament when they're getting nothing. I think the guys get about $1,000 per game, and they play 6 games or 8 games for the season. Now, can you tell a man to stay home for 6 weeks and earn $8,000? It's a bit difficult.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree there's been some fascinating cricket chat. We better wrap it up, because I know we've got raffle and heads and tails to do, but it's been a real pleasure, I'm sure you'll agree, and please thank very much.